Right now, without noticing, you are moving. If you are standing near the equator, you are traveling east at about 1,600 kilometers per hour. That is faster than a passenger jet, faster than the speed of sound, and you feel absolutely nothing. You don't feel it because everything around you moves with you. The ground, the air, your coffee. Speed alone is not something a body can sense. What we feel is a change in speed. In a plane at 900 kilometers per hour, you can pour a drink without spilling a drop because you and the plane share the same motion. Earth is that plane. It has simply never changed speed, not once in 4.5 billion years. But what if it did? Imagine the planet stops, not gradually, instantly. The rock beneath your feet halts, but you do not. Neither does the air, the water, or anything else that isn't bolted to bedrock. Everything keeps traveling east at over 1,000 kilometers per hour. Buildings would be torn from their foundations. The atmosphere would become a supersonic wall of wind, roughly 5 times stronger than the fiercest hurricane ever recorded. The friction alone would set the surface on fire. Then the water arrives. The oceans would keep moving too, sweeping inland by nearly 30 kilometers in the first minute. Not as a wave, as a wall. There would be no coastline left to speak of. Anyone who somehow survived would notice something strange. Spinning throws you outward very slightly, working against gravity. Without it, you would weigh about 1/3% more. On an 80-kilogram person, that is roughly 250 grams, the one gentle item on this entire list. But the strangest change happens slowly. Earth is not a perfect sphere. Spinning makes it bulge in the middle, so the equator sits about 21 kilometers further from the center than the poles do. That bulge is the only reason the oceans stay where they are. Stop the spin and gravity wins. Over years, the water would drain away from the equator and pool at the poles, forming 2 enormous polar oceans. And between them, rising out of the drained seabed, a single continent wrapped all the way around the planet. Europe and most of Russia would be underwater. So would Canada, Greenland, and all of Antarctica. Meanwhile, land that has been submerged for millions of years would see daylight for the first time. The day itself would break. Earth would still orbit the sun, so one rotation relative to the sun would now take 1 full year. 6 months of daylight, 6 months of darkness. The lit side would bake until the oceans steamed. The dark side would freeze hard enough for the air itself to begin condensing. And in the narrow band between them, wind would blow permanently from the heat toward the cold. Weather would stop making sense as well. Earth's rotation bends every moving mass of air. That is the Coriolis effect, and it is what spins hurricanes and steers the jet stream. Take the rotation away, and those patterns simply unwind. There is one more thing, and it is the one that would really finish us. Deep inside Earth, molten iron churns, and that motion generates our magnetic field. That field is the reason the solar wind does not strip our atmosphere away. Rotation helps organize the churning. Without it, the field would very likely weaken and eventually collapse, leaving the planet naked in front of the sun. Here is the part that is not hypothetical. Earth is slowing down. Right now, the moon pulls on our oceans, the oceans drag against the sea floor, and that friction quietly steals rotation from the planet. Every century, the day grows roughly 2 milliseconds longer, while the moon drifts away from us by about 4 centimeters a year. Run that backwards and the numbers get strange. 70 million years ago, when dinosaurs were still walking around, a day lasted about 23.5 hours. Go back 1 billion years, and it was closer to 19. So the Earth really is stopping. It is just taking billions of years to do it, which is the only reason any of this is a thought experiment instead of a news report.